Single dad was having tea alone until triplet girls whispered, "Pretend you're our father." I had chosen the quietest table in the corner of the cafe, the kind where no one noticed you unless they had to. My tea steamed gently in front of me, untouched for several minutes while I stared out the window, watching people hurry past with places to go and lives that felt fuller than mine. Being a single dad does that to you. It teaches you how to be strong in public and tired in private. My son Adam was at football practice. For once I had an hour to myself. No lunchboxes to pack, no homework to supervise, just hot tea and silence. That's when I felt a small tap on my arm. I turned to see three identical little girls standing side by side. Same dark curls, same wide eyes, same nervous smiles. They couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. Before I could speak, one of them leaned forward and whispered urgently, "Sir, pretend you're our father." I blinked. What? Another girl tugged lightly at my sleeve. "Please, just for a minute." The third pointed behind them with her chin. "That man over there, he keeps staring." I followed her gaze. Near the counter stood a tall man in a leather jacket, pretending to scroll on his phone while very obviously watching them. My stomach tightened. I didn't hesitate. "Of course," I said, standing up. I opened my arms. "Come here, kids." They rushed into me like they'd known me forever. One grabbed my hand. Another wrapped her arms around my waist. The third hid behind my leg. I lowered myself to their level and said loudly, "There you are. I told you not to wander off. Your mum will kill me." Their shoulders relaxed instantly. I guided them to my table and pulled out a chair. "Sit, all three of you." They obeyed, glancing back only once. The man at the counter noticed me watching him and quickly turned away. A moment later, he left. Only then did I realize my heart was racing. "You okay?" I asked softly. They nodded. "Thank you," the girl in the middle said. "He was following us from the bakery." My jaw tightened. "Where are your parents?" The girl on the left swallowed. "We don't have any." That stopped me cold. "We're triplets," the smallest one added like it explained everything. I ordered them juice and croissants. They ate like they hadn't had a proper snack all day. Their names were Lena, Myra, and Sarah. They lived with their grandmother a few blocks away. She sent them to buy bread, but they'd taken the long way back because Lena wanted to see the toy shop window. I walked them home. Their grandmother, a tired-eyed woman with silver hair and shaking hands, hugged them so tightly I had to look away. She thanked me over and over. I told myself that was the end of it. It was. 2 weeks later, I saw them again. This time at the park, sitting on a bench feeding crumbs to pigeons. They spotted me first. "T-Dad," they shouted, sprinting across the grass. I laughed despite myself. "T-Dad." "That's where we met you," Myra said seriously. "So that's your name now." I learned that their grandmother had arthritis so bad she could barely walk some days. Their mother had died 3 years earlier. Their father had never been around. They were growing up fast, the way children do when life gives them no choice. Adam joined us, instantly fascinated by having 3 new friends who wanted to race him across the playground and argue over who got to push him on the swings. Soon, park visits became routine. Then grocery runs. Then homework afternoons at my kitchen table while I cooked. Their grandmother insisted I didn't need to help. But I did anyway. Because once you've looked into the eyes of 3 little girls who whispered, "Pretend you're our father," something shifts inside you. One rainy evening, Lena knocked on my door alone. Her hair was soaked, her hands were shaking. "Grandma fell," she said. "She says she's okay, but she can't stand up." I grabbed my jacket, carried their grandmother to the car, and drove her to the emergency room. It turned out to be a fractured hip. She needed surgery. She needed weeks of recovery. She needed someone to watch 3 energetic 7-year-olds. She looked at me from the hospital bed with tears in her eyes. "I don't have anyone else," she said quietly. I nodded. "Bring their bags," I told her. "They'll stay with us." Adam didn't complain once. We rearranged sleeping arrangements. The girls took my bedroom. Adam and I shared the couch at first, then I bought bunk beds and a fold-out. Mornings became louder. Breakfast became messier. My laundry doubled overnight. But the apartment felt alive in a way it never had before. They argued over toothpaste flavors. They fought over whose turn it was to sit next to me in the car. They insisted on calling me Dad in public and T-Dad at home. I tried to correct them. They ignored me. One night after they were asleep, Adam whispered, "Can they stay forever?" I stared at the ceiling. "I don't know, buddy." Truth was, neither did I. Social services got involved. Temporary guardianship, paperwork, home inspections, endless forms that reduced human lives to checkboxes. The girls were terrified they'd be separated. I promised them they wouldn't be. I wasn't sure I had the right to promise that. Their grandmother recovered slowly, but her doctor said she couldn't care for 3 children full-time anymore. Not safely. She held my hands in hers, eyes wet. "They already see you as their father," she said. "If you're willing, I would trust no one else." I had 1 child. Now 3 more were looking at me like I was their whole world. I thought about my bank account, my small apartment, my long work hours. I thought about that first day in the cafe. I said yes. A year passed. We moved to a bigger place. I learned how to braid hair badly and pack 4 lunches at once. I became an expert at spelling tests and bedtime negotiations. Adam became their protector at school. They became his loudest cheerleaders at football games. People stared when we walked together, me with 4 kids in tow, but I stopped caring. One afternoon, I took them back to the same cafe where it all started. We ordered tea and hot chocolate. Sarah climbed into my lap like it was the most natural thing in the world. Myra leaned her head on my shoulder. Lena held my hand. Adam grinned at me from across the table. "Remember when you were just T-Dad?" he said. I laughed, "Yeah." Lena looked up at me seriously. "We didn't mean pretend forever," she said. My throat tightened. "I know. But we're glad you didn't stop." I looked at the 4 faces around me, my son, and 3 girls who had walked into my life by accident and stayed on purpose. Sometimes family doesn't come from blood. Sometimes it comes from a whisper in a cafe, a brave little lie, and a moment where you choose to stand up instead of staying seated. I raised my teacup. To not pretending anymore. They raised their cups too. And just like that, my quiet life became beautifully, permanently loud.